and give me your vote, then I promise you, we will win this general election, and together we'll change this country and we will change the world. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Let's get to work.
Austin and Kayla, and we're going to go through real quickly some of the things that we learned from this case study and give you a quick synopsis of some of the questions that we answered and the whole situation. So essentially, to start out, this case study follows the 2008 election, President Obama's candidacy, and how he was able to use some analytical systems to make his way to becoming president. So the whole case study focuses around a group called Spotlight Analytics, and essentially they were really, really important to President Obama's success in the 2008 campaign, based off of basically micro-targeting is essentially what was going on. And so one of the things that they were able to do as an analytical firm was predict from previous data that they had observed in recent elections about specific voters and their ability to change their vote, or basically these people were known as swing shift or swing voters. And essentially the analytic firm was able to target and predict people who were going to fall into a category of people likely to swing their vote or change their vote. And so once they discovered and were able to focus on those types of voters, they specifically targeted them for campaign campaign marketing, and that was really, really important, again, to Obama's success. So that was really a synopsis of it, but now we're going to go through some of the questions and some of the big key components of what was going on in the case study.
So first we're going to analyze decision-making systems and how this has played a role in Obama's campaign success. There's three main decision-making systems, and they are operational, managerial, and strategic. Operational meaning the level at which employees develop, deal with maintenance, and control the business activities in order to keep operations running smoothly. This system is considered to be very structured, much like the Obama campaign. The managerial level is where employees further process by evaluating operations and identifying a firm's ability to progress, adapt, and handle change. From here, they take the data that they've observed and they are, able to push forward with those swing voters and handle how they want to campaign to them specifically.
Mm-hmm. So the next question in the case study wants us to look into the difference between transactional information and analytical information, and how it was the difference and that concept was important to the case study. And essentially, what we learned is transactional information is mainly obtained for just normal routine operations of a business. So basically the things that help to make it run, like what happened is the main focus word that you want to look into. What happened, for example, what time did the delivery leave, what was the cost of a certain product. So that's transactional information. Again, really important for just the normal operations of a business. Examples of that might include sales receipts, if you're in the airline industry, the tickets that you're purchasing. Also in like shipping industry, maybe packing slips. So that's transactional information. And analytical information has to do with information that focuses around like future events. So what if you did something? What would be the change that you would cause? What if we were to open our business an hour earlier? So it's looking ahead, and essentially some good examples of analytical information might include product statistics, sales projections, and future growth, also or trends that you're seeing from some of the information that you already have on the business. And in this case study, it was really important to spotlight analysis, to use analytical information in regards to voter demographics and consumer spending habits, so that they could predict swing voters, or essentially just voters who are likely to change their vote in the election, so that they could target them and be more successful.
So while analyzing this, we also evaluated business process models. And Obama used a strategy to identify 10 tribes that he was trying to target with his campaign. The business model we found to be most predominant amongst his campaign was the 2B business model. While the as-is business model represents the current state of an operation, it's been mapped out, and everything's there and existing already. It wasn't incredibly helpful to them within the campaign, because they're without any specific improvements or changes to existing processes. There's really no need to analyze this data any further. While having the data from the as-is model is helpful in other situations, the 2B business process model was much better implemented within their successful campaign. This shows the results of applying change and improvement opportunities to their current or their as-is business process. Trying to predict the pattern of change or the swing voters, this model allows an interpretation of the voters' existing opinions while comparing them to the outcome of potential change. By using this business process, Obama's campaign was able to define the future state of voters and what outcomes and how that might look.
All right, so another important component of this case study just had to do with the business process reengineering. And essentially what that means is taking a business process model and essentially like picking it apart backwards in order to see how it works and see how things are flowing. So essentially, Obama instilled this by carefully monitoring contested states and districts, and using spotlight analysis, they were able to understand the data more fully in the previous section. So they were able to adjust their techniques because they were able to take apart the process model that they had for picking and analyzing voters in order to put them into categories or tribes, as the case study talks about. They were able to pick it apart, restructure their process model to fit the new tribes that they were really trying to focus on.
And by successfully using this political micro-targeting campaign method, the Obama team was able to formulate metrics along the lines of like generational differences and regional factors. So people who fell into these demographics were then identified as targets or not as targets. Obama's team took it upon themselves to invest heavily in the younger generation, so voters who are closer to who Obama himself in age, and they successfully appealed to their senses, while trying to guarantee that their votes would definitely favor him.
And so for this last part of the case study, guys, it asks you as the reader, and we were able to talk about this, but it's looking for what do you think about, I guess, like the ethics behind micro-targeting as an analytical firm. And it asks you the question, what do you think about the statement, political micro-targeting signals the dehumanization of politics? And so I guess one of the things like we were thinking is it definitely feels a little bit like a violation of privacy in regards to analytical firms using data about you as the voter that they can access or have on hand to be able to essentially puts you into a category as a voter. And one thing I'll say is maybe it is a step forward because micro-targeting is specifically looking at the voter in a more detailed manner, whereas in the past, in the case study, it does say that in the past they would put you into much larger groups. For example, like if you were African American, if you were Catholic, if you were like a public worker, and I guess those are much larger categories and groups that they would maybe unfairly distribute to certain types of people, and so maybe it is a step forward in that sense. But one of the things that we were thinking is, again, it does feel like a little bit of an invasion of privacy.
This micro-targeting, it indicates that possibly politics are becoming dehumanized because it analyzes more detailed features of voters. Like a big thing is family size. They know that about you. That's how they target you. Money spending and other activities people do within their home. So the way you spend your money, rather than just categorizing, what you might look like or what you do for a living, is a way they can target you. And while this might seem bad, it also does have the other hand of being beneficial to having things be more pertinent to you as a voter, and you might be able to become more educated as well as being a more well-rounded voter.
So those are just some of our thoughts about that question, and we would love, and I'm sure you guys are going to have to give your own takes and opinions on what you guys think about that statement. So that's the gist of our presentation, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks.